My name is Jenn Lee Smith. I'm the founder of Bewilder Films and content creator.
Right, excellent. Jen, well, thank you for joining us for the interview. Could you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Bewilder Films?
I think there wasn't enough content that I could see that started conversations, so I wanted to create more conversations around underrepresented stories, because there's a lot of nuance there to capture, and none of us are one story, so I want to be able to show multiple layers of characters and multiple storylines that are relevant to our society today.
So what's behind that name, though, to Bewilder?
It was inspired by a Rumi quote, which I can't recall the full quote right now, but it's "Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment." That's meaningful to me because I come out of academia, which is all about cleverness, and it's all up in that headspace. And I wanted to kind of connect more to the wholeness of our being, so our hearts, our minds, our souls, because when you combine all three, you naturally have a curiosity about the world.
So from academia, obviously, I believe you're trying to get your PhD at UCLA. So I know you spoke about this, how you went from PhD to deciding, you know what, I'm going to go and open my own film production company. So what shifted that change, besides the fact that I took some film classes, it interested me. There's got to be something behind all that to say, you know what, I'm just going to go with my passion.
Yeah, that passion's been there for a long time. Even though my company is only 2.5 years old, I have loved film and television all of my life, and so it was always a part of me. They say back when physical newspapers were in vogue, this dates me a little bit, the first section that you turn to, whether it be business or politics or sports or entertainment, that's your true drive. You sit down, you're relaxing to read something. The page I always turn to is entertainment. That's always been the case.
So what do you consider your biggest challenges to the multicultural film, like in terms of green lights to distribution?
The biggest challenges
for your shows getting green lighted and getting distributed to certain, because you did say like it wasn't popular, the films that you produced in certain major cities that you would thought it would be accepted, but yet in Midwest, in rural America, it's pretty popular in the festivals there. So,
right, I think we're still in this space where stories have to be either one way or the other, and I set out to make films that could work at multiple levels based on my understanding of things. For example, in the queer film genre, I thought that I could create a film from the vantage point of someone who lives in a conservative rural town in America, and that the queer community would be able to accept it. But as it turns out, that's not entirely the case. It was Middle America that was more accepting of this storyline, probably because they recognize the landscapes as something familiar to them, and the characters were more familiar to them. And I think perhaps we still have a ways to go when it comes to removing the assumptions and judgments that we have about each other based on certain categories.
what kind of advice would you give producers who are thinking about engaging the Asian American audience?
Sandra Oh had a great quote about, I don't need to talk about change, because I look the way I do, I'm already inhabiting that. I am that change. So just being out there, being in spaces that normally Asian Americans are not found, is one of the best ways and one of the easiest ways to build awareness of who we are. Really, it's about interaction. It's about eye-to-eye contact. It's about familiarizing ourselves with what we perceive as the other, and hearing each other's stories, and just inhabiting the body that I am. I just go to Middle America. They just need to hear my story, and I hear theirs, and suddenly there's a bond. You know, there will always be things we can come together around. There are more things that unite us than divide us. Yeah, I think that's what it is at the end of the day. It's about the common humanity. My degree was in geography, so I believe in kind of that scale, like that we unite on, let's think of ourselves as kind of inhabitants of this rock, and very temporary inhabitants of this rock, and let's do the best we can to, you know, see each other, support each other, make this world better. And I appreciate 3AF and all of the sponsors, and all the people who are working hard in various capacities to bring more awareness and to educate America on who we are as Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.